Hello everyone, this is Ponder on Weather. In this update, we're going to be tracking two storm systems bringing very heavy snowfall, severe weather, and a hurricane makes landfall this weekend. So I appreciate all my followers out there and my new followers. If you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns on North America and the tropics, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and notification bell to get all my daily updates to keep you ahead of the storm. So let's take a look at the overall satellite picture this afternoon, and you can actually see this massive cold front that brought all the cold air into the U.S. as of late has sunk all the way in the Caribbean, guys. The cold front is literally almost into Jamaica now. That is actually rare to see for this early on of the season. And that's got a lot of shear out here in this region. So it's going to be limiting development over the next week or two. But what it's not limiting is this storm out here in the Eastern Pacific. That is Tropical Storm Rosalind that is expected to become a hurricane, if not on the cusp of a major hurricane, making landfall into Mexico as we go into Sunday timeframe. And look at there up north. There's the atmospheric river finally coming back for the Pacific Northwest with much needed rain. And we've got two storm systems we're going to be tracking, dumping some very heavy snow in its path. Let's take a look at the Rosalind down here in Mexico. Let me get your bearings. This is Mexico City. This is Guadalajara, as well as Puerto Vallarta. This storm system is continuing to rapidly intensify. Right now, it's a 65-mile-per-hour tropical storm expected to become a hurricane into tomorrow, and then continue northbound. And then sometime on Sunday morning, as it gets landfall again, as 110 mile per hour, right on the cusp of a major hurricane, wind gusts potentially up to 130 miles an hour. You see Puerto Vallarta is going to be in the cone of this storm. So if you got friends or family that live in the area, they need to be on high alert of this potential close to major hurricane going to be knocking on their doorstep by the time we head into Sunday morning, with very high winds and torrential rains making impact into the mountains of Mexico. But as it pushes inland, it is going to be weakening, but it's going to help spread some of its tropical moisture into Texas. So let's take a look at further north. Let's look at the jet stream, because this is going to be a major player as the jet stream really starts to dip, dragging down that colder air from Canada, and that's pulling in heavy snow and rain along the coastal regions. And then just to here, we got a 986 millibar low pressure as the winds turn around from the southwest. All these areas into the southern regions and the central and eastern 2/3 of the U.S. is going to be warming up rapidly over the next several days. But underneath that trough, we've got heavy snow that's going to be beginning to fly starting tonight, but especially into tomorrow. On Saturday, we have heavy snow forming into portions of Idaho and to Montana. That'll sneak into portions of Wyoming here. There's your 988 millibar low pressure developing, and there's your hurricane further south going to be making impact as we go into Sunday. But there's the coastal low that's also developing off here off the southeast coast. That's going to swing around and bringing precipitation to parts of the northeast as we head into your Sunday time frame. So as we move into Sunday, there's that system continuing to progress. It's going to be continuing to dump that very heavy snow in its path, really dumping into portions of Montana, heading into Wyoming. It'll finally get into portions of the Colorado mountains here. The storm does make landfall into Mexico, but it winds itself down and kind of rips apart over the mountains of Mexico as we get into Sunday afternoon. And there's your coastal low, continue to swing around, and then it'll dump some heavier rains into portions of New York, getting into Massachusetts, into portions of Rhode Island here, as well as Connecticut right off the Cape here. So don't be surprised to look for some stronger storms as we head into the afternoon time frame. Complements of this coastal low going to be over your head by then. So, but it's all conducive of this just massive transition of what we've been experiencing late. We had all the colder conditions in the central and eastern 2/3, and then the rapid warm up with the southwest winds. We're talking temperature anomalies easily approaching 20 to 30 degrees above average temperatures It's going to be close to 90 degrees for a good chunk of Texas over the next couple of days, while you got all that cold air finally entering the west. You've been waiting for it, but it's going to come back with a vengeance, with well below average temperature anomalies. And then where the clash in temperatures, where we have that temperature gradient, that's the concern, where severe thunderstorms are going to be forming. It's all going to be complements of this jet stream that's really going to be diving through. This is about 17,000 feet. And as it continues to dive, pulling down that colder air, it'll try to go negatively tilted. And as it does, it's going to have a lot of lift associated with it. And unfortunately, it is going to be rotating at lower levels of the atmosphere. So that is the concern for severe storms as we head into Sunday timeframe, into portions of Kansas, into northwest Missouri, into Iowa, into portions of Minnesota, as well as portions of Wisconsin. But the good thing that what's going on with this system is it doesn't really have that much instability with it, right? So typically you'd have stuff for several thousand Cape values. This is not even 1,000. So it does have a lot of dynamics working for it to bring a pretty good severe weather event, but it really doesn't have that much instability associated with it as of right now. And that's the reason why the Storm Prediction Center has kind of scaled back on this severe threat as of right now, just because the limited instability with this system. So we could be looking at some stronger storms into portions of Kansas, Nebraska here, as well as Iowa into Minnesota. And there's your Colorado State University map as well, highlighting that area that could have some severe storms as we head into your Sunday time frame. But as we go into Monday, there's going to be a southern branch of this system. So as the southern branch really starts to get its act together, that's going to be diving down into portions of Texas as well as Oklahoma, and that is going to bring its own form of rain and could be some hail producers as well. So as this system pulls across, it's going to have a lot of upward rising motion air, and the atmosphere is finally going to be turning over in a big way into portions of North Texas and to Central Texas. Yes, guys, we're talking about you. We're talking about rain. I know Texas and rain are having, it's going to be a rare event as of late because it's been so dry, but you guys in Oklahoma are going to get hit pretty hard. So we got some decent rains. And there's another one coming by Friday. So by the time we head into Monday afternoon, especially Monday evening, sky should be opening up over portions of North Texas into Central Texas into Oklahoma, as well as portions of Missouri. There's the northern side of this system up into Canada with a 979 millibar low pressure swinging around on the south side. There's the dumping the heavier snows over portions of central Canada here, as well as back into the Dakotas. And yet we have another reinforcing shot of colder air coming in from the Pacific Northwest, with more heavy snows entering the picture in Idaho, as portions of Montana. But you look at the upper levels, as the storm has that upward rising motion and creates that lift, as these cloud tops get higher, that's when it's going to tap into some of this cold air aloft. These are the temperatures about 5,000 feet up in the atmosphere. And as it does, it's going to transition some of this into some hailstones. So don't be surprised you see that tail end impacting some of that severe threat and highlighting the hail threat as we go into your Monday timeframe over your Oklahoma area, over the portions of North Texas. I am expecting some hail producing thunderstorms as we get deeper into Monday afternoon as well as Monday evening timeframe. So as this system moves across on Tuesday, I think it wrings itself out by Tuesday morning. Now by Tuesday afternoon, it'll be set up over portions of Louisiana and to Arkansas, over portions of Mississippi, parts of western Tennessee. Now it'll be on the southeast corner of Missouri, as well as Illinois. That first upper level low pressure center will continue to lift out up into Canada, while the second one tries to get its act together into the Pacific Northwest, bringing down some heavier snows again, reinforcing back into the coastal regions with your rain back into Seattle, into Portland and portions of northern California, and then all snow on the eastern sides of Washington and Oregon, as well as Idaho. And then there's that second system as it comes across on Thursday. This is another kind of bowling ball trough that'll come down from the northwest, diving through the Rockies, through the Four Corners regions. Out ahead of it, you got a lot of colder air again, another reinforcing shot of much colder air conditions. You're still tapping into the warm sector in the midsection of the country, but this trough sets up shop over again. This is Friday. This would be Friday time frame. So you got the Monday set up, the Monday afternoon over Oklahoma and Texas. You got a reinforcing shot coming back into the picture for next Friday, with more heavy storms into portions of Oklahoma as well as Texas, with this swirl right overhead over your region, and it'll dump some heavier rains. Again, another reinforcing shot of heavier rains into Oklahoma as well as into Texas as we go into next Friday. So overall, with those two storm systems, it's going to be a windy week in the midsection of the country. So any of these areas that's highlighted in green as well as into orange, you expect some higher wind gust, probably some numerous wind advisories going to be taking place over the next week. So I am expecting a fairly windy week, which is not out of the question as we get into late October. There are the winds that will come from Roslyn that'll die out over Mexico, but again, it'll help spread some of its moisture into Texas, and there is the moisture. With the combination of those two systems on Monday as well as Friday, we got some decent rains finally coming back into North Texas, Central Texas, parts of South Texas, but especially Oklahoma. Yes, you guys, Oklahoma, we're talking multiple inches of rain. Yes, multiple inches of rain. This is a fairly decent, good soaking on the table, as well as portions of Kansas, especially portions of northwestern Missouri, getting into Arkansas. There's the Pacific Northwest as well. Finally, the heavier rains come back for them. We could be looking at 4 to 6 inches just in the next week in the places of Washington and Oregon and parts of Northern California. Most of this over here in Idaho and Montana will be in the form of snow. And there's that coastal low that will impact parts of the Northeast, bringing some heavier rains just along the coastline. But there's your snow. So we got a lot of snow and heavier snows, if not some blizzard-like conditions, probably setting up over portions of Montana as well as of the Dakotas. But then just heavy snow with those rounds and rounds of troughs that can be coming in over the next 7 days. Some of this areas could easily pick up a foot of snow, if not almost 2 feet of snow just over the next 7 days, and a good chunk of Idaho and Montana into Wyoming, as well as parts of Nevada here in Utah, is getting into the Rocky Mountains as well, with some definitely healthy snows on the way, and the ski lovers are going to be loving it. So hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Catch the latest update where I protect you before and after the storm.